Woohoo! So we are now on module 4, and I'm really excited about this week because we are going to do a meditation today that I think will really make a difference for you. To begin with, I want to start working with you on your modules for those who have their hands up. So Cynthia, tell me what it is that you need support with, because this, when you're in the hot seat, you get to ask me any question you want for support.
My idea was that I would start by having everybody stand up and literally getting them warmed up. And also it almost taught itself just in the warm up, and by shifting like the side to side, like we're shifting side to side and then identifying the emotion.
So is this in your first module or your second module? What are we talking about?
This is my first module.
So you're going to begin with having everybody stand up and shift from side to side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a little mini warm up.
Okay. And why do you feel that that is a good idea?
So that they can experience the physical benefits of exercise on their emotional state.
And you aren't going to talk to them about why they're doing this first?
Well, I thought it would be kind of like, oh, well, first we're just going to get warmed up and then teach it well where they're standing, like going at it a little bit backwards, because I teach as I'm moving. So I think you're right. Communicating it may be the first step into sharing that information. Physiologically, the body is impacted by exercise, and this by that shifting of side to side, you can create a change.
I kind of like to know what I'm doing. Do you?
Okay.
And I like to know why I'm doing it. So you may not even know some of the people in this class, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, hopefully you've talked to every one of them ahead of time. But I mean, they don't know each other. And do you remember what I told you about women? Who can tell her about women? Who could tell her in a class?
Women need to speak.
Yes, exactly. Women need to speak before you ever get started.
Oh, okay. I can see. Okay, that makes sense why they chatter before class.
And they also want to know about you. So you are going to have to start with a foundation. Always start with your foundation. You can get up and start moving. Problem doing that is right away you have to be teaching something that you aren't even into yet. Yeah. It has to make sense to people when you are starting your course. You have to be able to tell them. They want to know why they're doing this moving. You can't just start moving them when they don't even know who's in the class with them. They don't know who you are really. In the beginning, you have people introduce themselves. At first, you talk about what your course is going to be briefly. Welcome them, say, I'm so excited that you're here with me. I know that you're going to really enjoy this class, and here's why. Those are the benefits, right? The benefits. Yeah. So you're going to say, this is why I'm doing this, and I think you're going to have a great time. I want to know why I'm taking this class. What are you going to do for me? And you could do the shift at the end of the class.
Okay.
Maybe an hour. How long is your course going to be?
An hour.
Just an hour. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe at 45 minutes, you could have them stand up and do shifts.
Okay.
But you have to lead into it, because I'm going to be standing there going, okay, this is interesting. Who is her coach? You got to talk about what this is all about and what the benefits are and why. Tell your story about why you're doing it. Then you can get into the first training. And for you, because you're doing exercise, I don't think that 60 minutes is enough. How about the rest of you? How many think 60 minutes is enough? Raise your hand. How many things? Okay, Barbara Barry. How many think 90 minutes?
90.
60 is good.
60 is good. Okay.
I've decided 90. The more I play around with my idea, I just wanted to share that with everybody. 90 minutes seems to do it. It does. I'm using that from advice from being a classroom teacher.
There you go.
Block scheduling. So, and I'm also today, when we have a moment, I'm going to stop talking. I'm sorry. I'm going to share outlines with all of you to use for lesson plans. It works like
Oh, there you
darn.
go.
You're
I
a
just started. I
gem.
just started. I was writing mine. I'm like, what am I doing? I wrote lesson plans for like 20 years or something.
Alexis, you're next.
I was going to start out. So I was playing with this acronym, HENS, that we talked about. I mentioned last week. And just because when I'm talking about the core four, meaning like hydration, exercise, nutrition, and sleep, I was playing with those letters. And HENS is the word I came up with. And I thought it would be a fun play of words to refer to kids as chicks. So I named it Hatch Your Healthy Chicks with HENS.
I
Is
love
that, like,
that.
That's
Is
cute.
it good? I didn't know if it was cheesy or like.
No, hens with happy
Good.
chips. That's really cute.
With my first one, I just want to go over the foundations of those core principles of HENS and go over the basics of why it's so important to learn those first and how it relates to everything else that we're going to learn throughout the rest of the course.
Very good. And what's your story going to be about?
My story is kind of what we talked about last week, where I was a tired, worn out. I have it over here, so I'm going to read it. I was a tired, worn out working mom with my own business. And and I was juggling like work and no sleep and my kids being sick and all the regular mom stuff. And then after attending a wellness workshop, I realized that I needed to take charge of the health of my family. This was a game changer, and the issues that I thought were normal were changed for the better. I was thrilled to see the health benefits for my family, and I wanted to help others to learn these lessons before they hit the hardships that I did. So,
I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's really good. Does anybody else have feedback for her?
I agree. Nice.
Yeah, I think it is too. And it's very engaging also.
Thank you.
I like the idea of the chicks and the hens because you can span out from there, and you could create a whole series of books that actually teach your material as well.
And the same way with every module in your course, you can all do it. You can do every one of them with chicks and hens or chicks doing naughty things with the hen all upset, or chicks sitting nicely at the table, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what I was thinking about using that play on that word throughout.
Yeah, and if anybody needs those kind of graphics, let me know, because Muhammad does a beautiful job with graphics. Some of you use him, and he could do your graphics for you. He's extremely inexpensive too. So, because you probably aren't going to find many graphics that are like that, which will make you extremely unique, and it'll be fun for people.
Cool.
Do you have any other questions?
Not right now. I think,
okay. Not right now is good. I think the cheesier the better, actually, when you're talking about children.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, and you could have a diversity, even, all the different looking chicks and all that. It would just be so much fun.
Yeah, you could really play that up. I think you'd have a blast with it. Good job. Don't worry about cheesy. When it comes to kids, you could be as cheesy as you want, because it's about them and how to work with them. So that's why it would be cheesy. Trudy, you're next. How about you?
Great. Well, just a little bit of background. Last week you were asking what the it was. Who was it? Alex, I think, was asking what the it was. So my book is started because I asked my elderly mother what I could do to be a better daughter. And she said, without a moment's hesitation, more or less, you could just send me a little more mail, because when I walk all the way to the mailbox and there's nothing there, it just feels kind of sad. So my assignment from last week was to ask some important person in your life what you could do to be better daughter, son, friend, neighbor, whatever it happens to be, and then report back at the second module. Now we're at the second. And so the end of that story was that for the next 2.5 years, I sent 4 or 5 things a week to my mother, just so she'd have something in the mailbox. And it might have been a packet of flower seeds, or a bus ticket saying on my way to Basie's to buy a new dress, or a restaurant menu with I had this, wish you were here, just so there'd be something in the mailbox for her. So that was my response to the question, to her response of what can I do to be a better daughter. So my second module will be about what people did, what the response was, what they did in as an action following the response, and just get sort of that conversation going. Now, as I wrote the second module, the first part of module 2 will be breakout rooms where they will review what they did, who they talked to, what they learned, what their insights were, and what they're going to do going forward. So then bouncing to the second part of module 2 would be to introduce a new concept. Now, here's the question. I jumped directly to, no, let me expand. My second book then was not only my mother's story about the mail, but it was also asking other people what they had done to support or bring joy to their elderly relatives. And so now I have an anthology of stories about what people have done. So the question is where to go with the second module. And what I wrote as my second module then was, what if you have a conflicted relationship with a parent? What would you want to do at that point? So I could take that.
That's a great second one, because a lot of people are conflicted with the parents, especially in-laws are the worst to deal with for people.
So that was really my question. If jumping to the conflict situation was too much of a shift, because I could go to other interesting things that people have done for their elderly relatives. For example, one of my friends took his father on a cruise to Antarctica because he'd always wanted to go to Antarctica, and somebody else took took the mother and her friend with them on a business trip to New York. So they stayed in the hotel and got to know the area, and everybody in the hotel loved them. And then afterwards, every time she would go, they would say, "Where's your mom? You know, how's your mom?" So they helped her build this relationship. So if I wanted to ease into a gentler thing, my module 2 could be about expanding the horizons for an elderly relative, as opposed to going immediately to a conflict situation. So that's the question. Immediately to conflict, or slide in there on something else.
Okay, so conflict is all about resistance. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
So right away, if they are conflicted with their parent or whoever it is, then they won't want to do the course, because they're going to say, I don't know how to deal with this.
You're right.
So I think it's really good that you're doing conflict right off the bat, because as you move through in the future, you could say, remember in module 2, we talked about conflict. And I think that one of the things that people need to learn is that if they are at odds with a parent or an in-law or whatever it is, give them what they want.
Yes, give them what they want.
So your life is at peace. Okay, just give it to them. Give them what they want. Because if you learn to see it in a different perspective, then it shifts everything. And I think you could do a really good job at pointing that out. And you may be able to mend and use this in your marketing, relationships, mend
Absolutely.
Important relationships. Because when people die, they just die. That's it. You're
That's
lost.
it.
It's finished. You never had a chance. And when I look back at my grandpa, who I really adored, he used to take me to A's games as a child. So when I grew up and he was in his waning years, I took him to A's games in return. So that's what I'm talking about. Or if you have a rub with them, like I said, give them what they want. Whatever it is that you have that rub with, what could it hurt you?
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
let them have it. You're not going to have to do it forever. It's only temporary.
Yeah. I
like what you're doing.
Okay. All right. Then I'll go from there.
You got a lot of nodding heads. Do all of you agree? Yeah. See, everybody agrees with that. Go for it. Okay. Good job. Yes, Barbara.
Trudy, I'm wondering if down the road, this could become another anthology opportunity for participants who want to, make
share their story,
whatever.
Absolutely.
And how they turned their relationship around. I think that would be an anthology that would really sell.
Thank you.
If any of you have a book that you want me to read to help you along, then send it to me, okay? And that way it helps me help you move forward. Okay, fabulous. Thank you, Trudy. Rosa, you raised your hand.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Let me start with that.
Okay.
And Dr. Charlene, you know what I've been doing the best.
Yes.
And so does Cynthia. So you may be able to relate to what I'm thinking. Because I've already been doing the 1-day retreat, I have been sort of having two minds as to whether I should include the retreat as part of the program.
No,
No.
that's your upsell.
So here's my confusion. The upsell is cheaper than the 6-module program. The upsell is, I haven't even got it up to 500 yet.
You could do that
297.
as a preempt into your course then. Go the other way.
Sorry, say that again.
So, another, how much do you sell that for?
Right now it's 297, and I did the COVID thing. I really wanted it to go for 497, but I couldn't get that, so I did it for 297.
But let's be honest, you couldn't get that because you couldn't get that out of your mouth, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really what it is.
Yes, I know that. Okay.
Has nothing to do with COVID.
That's why I called you on it. All right. So I happen to know everybody in this group personally, so I may know something and I may call you on it. If that is $297 and you want to sell them into your course, that's a good way to start. So they can get to know you and then sell them into your course. But you are not going to connect them with anybody then. I would increase the cost of that course, of that 1-day thing, and make it your upsell from your course. That's too cheap for what she does. It's an all-day thing. No way. So you have them go into your class first because that's baby. How do we work with each other? What do we do? Why do we need to be referred to somebody on the next level? That's what you're teaching in this course. You're teaching baby steps.
It is true, because sometimes by the time they get to that 1 day, they're not really ready to connect at an intimate level.
That's right. And they don't do follow through either unless you teach them how to do it. And a big part of that is, I get this with people, okay? So I'm going to give you my own experience if you don't mind. I have a pretty good presence on the web. Would you all agree? And a lot of people know who I am. When they're connected to me, like I talked to somebody today, she was afraid to talk to me because she didn't know how it was going to go. She didn't know what I was going to be like. Part of the benefit that I have is I have those 2-minute tips that I keep sending out. So people think they know me, but when it comes to talking to me, they're like, whoa, she does too much. She knows too much. She's been around a long time. I don't know if I can talk to her. That's part of your issue with connecting people, because you're connecting lower level with higher level in business, length of time in business, knowledge, all that kind of thing. So people become intimidated and they don't have the confidence they need to speak to that level. And then they say, well, this person doesn't even know what they're talking about. I can't help this person. I don't know why Rosa gave them to me.
Because you had suggested I do it every month. I'm not going to be able to do it every month once I raise it. So it'll be like once every 3 months, because I'll have this program, which I'll be busy doing anyway, which would replace that income. And then I can do this once every quarter, right?
Yes. And I suggested you do it every month because you had nothing else for income.
Exactly.
So if you do your class and you run your class, then, and you could even do a 5-day challenge that has some, not exactly what that is, but something preparing their behavior and building their confidence. You could have a 5-day challenge doing that.
Yes.
And that could be free.
Yeah.
You see? And then you move them into your course from there. And you could tell them also, if you are feeling confident after you completed taking this course, I'm going to introduce you to someone that can take you to the next level.
And that's when they get into the retreat.
Yes. So that's, if this, then that.
Yes. Yes.
But you can't get into my retreat until you've taken the course. That's a prerequisite.
This makes so much sense. Where have you been all my life? Oh my God.
Well, I've been around for a while.
Jeez, but not in my life, right?
Your course is a prerequisite to spending that day with you and doing the introductions.
Okay, I like it better.
It's an honor to receive an introduction to someone that can move your business to that next level. That's an honor. And if you don't know how to behave when you talk to them, it's a no-go. Because most of us don't have the time to baby people.
Well,
now
I
you
kept
know
think-
who to target. It's going to be people that are needing that next step up.
I'm doing this.
But you know, people that are needing that next step up are not only the newbies. I have people who have been in business for 5 years.
Oh yeah, that's
And
what
it-
I'm talking about. Those people. How many
Just
of
haven't
you
posted
are
it.
almost to module 2, working through module 2? Excellent. Good job, you guys. Good job. Okay. So this week you're going to work on module 3. All right. So now we're going to do our meditation. Are you ready for that? Remember to break your steps down. Go back to your brain dump if you don't know what to do and you get stuck. Your brain dump has the map for you on what you're going to have in each one of your modules. Now you're going to learn who your clients are. Okay? Are you ready for that? Awesome. Okay. Everybody just relax, sit back in your chair, and then everybody print this out. Did you all do it? Hopefully all of you have printed this out. I told you to print it out. I don't want you working on the computer when you're trying to do a meditation because it breaks the flow. It has to go from your head to your hand. Head, heart, hand. Okay? If you try to do it on the computer with this kind of thing, it doesn't work. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold. 2, 3. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold. 2, 3. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more time. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold. 2, 3. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just breathe naturally. Now I want you to focus on the top of your head. Focus on your forehead. Now your throat. And your chest. Your abdomen. Your thighs. Calves. And your feet. Now that you're at your feet, run all the way down into the earth with a golden thread, all the way from your feet, and anchor it on something in the middle of the earth. And now focus on your calves, your thighs, your abdomen, your chest, and your throat, your forehead, and the top of your head. And run a golden thread all the way up into the universe. And then combine the two between your feet and the top of your head. Just drop your shoulders. want you to see yourself standing on a stage. And you have a room full of about 50 to 100 people. And I want you to just look out at them. Now ask them a question that has something to do with what you are teaching. And the people that answer yes will raise their hand. Do you see them? Those are your people. The people who raise their hands are your people. And I want you to notice now, are they more men? Are they women? Or is it a mix? Really look at them. They're not expecting you to say anything right now. Just look at them. What age range do they appear to be? Are they between 20 and 35? How about 36 to 45? 45 to 60? Are they children? Or are they a mix of ages? How are they dressed? Is it a formal meeting and they're in business attire? Or jeans and a t-shirt? Very relaxed? Are they kind of casual, like maybe they're just going out to dinner? Are they wearing sportswear? Or maybe they're hanging out in a cowboy getup with snaps on their shirts. Now take a look at them. Are they smiling? Are they feeling sad and confused or frustrated? Are they sad? Really look at them. And now I want you to check the boxes on your document that I provided and then write any additional information down below. Don't talk, don't do anything but interact with this worksheet. And just keep writing until I tell you to stop. Be sure to write down as much as you possibly can on the bottom, and you can check all the boxes that you want. You don't have to just do one. Keep writing until I tell you to stop. Okay, Alex, go ahead, unmute yourself and share.
I actually shaped my course differently. Do you have a lot of staff? The age group is 40 to 65. They're talking to each other as the music is playing. We are going to talk about the man cave. Why do men collect things? What have you collected? Do you need it anymore? Who else might need it? Give you and your crap a chance. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Boxes, internally and externally. Think compartmentalizing. Internal and external boxes. Thank you.
So is it all men?
Yeah.
Okay, it's all men, and you gave us the age. How are they dressed?
I don't know. Casual.
Casual. Okay, casual. And what is their demeanor? Are they smiling? Are they confused? What are they?
They are glad to be out to work for the evening.
Okay, but what are they doing? Tell me, are they sad? Are they feeling lost and confused? What are they feeling?
Stressed.
Trust? Stressed. Okay, stressed. All right, good. Alex, as you were speaking, I just had this amazing thing that came in. Very few men, if they're married, have their own space. And you should have them create their own space.
I'm already doing that.
Oh, perfect. Okay, then you just got verification. All right, awesome. Okay, thank you, Alex. Who else would like to share? Alice, let's talk about your people. Are they men or women or
everybody? They're everybody.
They're mixed. Okay.
Mixed.
So what age range?
Well, I think that probably the youngest was 25.
Uh-huh. And the oldest what?
80.
Okay. So let me just tell you something. All right. The 20-year-olds are heading back home yet again. They don't have the money that they need to spend on additional things in their lives. They're buying shoes for kids. They're trying to get a house. They're doing all kinds of things that are just meant to survive. And this is up to the age of 35. At 35, they have a little bit more. That's why they go out and buy big screen TVs, or they'll go buy a van to travel around in or something like that. They'll have a little more money. Same way with people who are in their 80s. They're not so willing to look within. I found that out with another client because she was focusing on people in their late 70s and 80s. And she found out that they have no interest in it and doing anything like this. No classes of any kind because they figure they're done. So it's very hard to sell to them. Some people are different though. But when you have an age range spread like that and you're trying to teach a course, it's almost impossible. because it's different languages. That's actually 3 different languages. It's so much better if you have a specific age range. That's why I put those ages there for you, is so that you could identify which age. Most of you are not going to want to have people in their 20s unless their parents are paying for it. It's okay if they come in, but you don't want to focus on that age. In my sales course, I show people what the average income is for a person between 20 and 35. And it's about 25,000. You can't do much with that. You can't hardly even pay rent. So if you really want to make a good income, you have to think of people that are 35 and older. Now, I'm talking about this for you, because you can work all you want at getting 20-year-olds in there and you're not going to make any money. So let's go where the sweet spot is. And that's what I want all of you to think about. Some of you have been in my sales course, so you know about the sweet spot. Tom, you had a question, and I want you to share what you saw.
The room was the same kind of room that I've talked in several times before, and same with the audience, which was mixed between 20 to 60. I asked them if they'd used an ERD or if they'd used a database diagram before, and if they'd like to. And the first thing I wrote down was men that answered, and the age range that I wrote down was 36 to 45.
Good, excellent. Okay.
But I went back and I added 20 to 35 because there's a lot of programmers out there that are still pretty young, and they may not know that they need this. But certainly, if you're 30 in your 30s, you'll have an understanding of what kind of benefit you should be able to get using my technology. They were dressy casual business attire, and I noticed that they raised their hands, but they weren't like waving their hands. They weren't jumping up and down. It's basically what I would expect from the same kind of room as I've talked to before.
Okay.
Now that comes to my question. I've been trying to figure out who my audience is for this. And in my research, a lot of people have been asking questions about using one framework, which is just like, think of it as a one language. Okay. And this framework is what I'm most comfortable with and what I've been working with for a very long time. Now, on the other hand, there's the behemoth, and everybody in my field is moving towards this other framework, and they don't have an ERD. I searched on they have a whole bunch of videos on their official website, and there was nothing about the kind of work that I'm doing. And my question was, should I go with like what I know, or should I just go after the behemoth right out of the gate?
If that's the direction that everybody is moving in, you always want to be ahead of the movement.
Okay.
It all comes down to how much money you want to make and how easy your sales are to make. So remember, you want to target the people that can afford to pay you, number one. That's number one. And number two, Tom, stay ahead of the curve. Always do your business based on staying ahead of the curve, not behind. If you get behind and you try and divert them another direction, they won't be able to handle it. They won't do it because they'll say, I already learned this. I don't want to learn that.
Okay.
Find out what the colleges are doing. Amanda, she asked questions about her topic on Facebook. And I would put a poll up there on your Facebook page or any groups that you happen to be in, and you'll find out the answer. You'll be amazed, right, Amanda? You got a lot of feedback.
A ton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's part of the research. Who else would like to share what they saw? Trudy.
Well, this is for me, it's a little, it's a big question in my mind. And now that you all kind of know what my subject is, if I'm looking at my screen here, how many of you would be interested in learning how to improve your relationships with your older relatives? Raise your hand if the answer is yes.
I can't, they're all dead. So, but I would if I could.
Okay, so I got 2/3 of the people who are here. And I think this is about my target audience. It's generally women. It's generally women who are in their 50s or 60s. maybe a little bit older, but generally it needs to be somebody who is the second in line in their generational progression. So they're not the oldest ones in their family, but they're the second oldest ones in their family, as a general rule.
Mm-hmm. But do keep in mind, Trudy, that a lot of people, like my situation, I don't have anybody. So you want to keep it at an age. How many of you have parents that you would want to do this with? How many? I mean,
or aunts and uncles.
Or aunts and uncles. So you got, and Cynthia's not in that age range. Neither is Alexis, and neither is Amanda. So I think you're more in the 45 plus, because that's, or you could go back, you could go to the maybe 44, something like that. Just because I put that list that way, it doesn't mean you have to stay within that. That's just to give you an idea of the breakdown. Yeah. So you might want to do it with people who have children and it's the grandparents or something like that, because that's where the biggest problems come in.
You think it's people who have children?
I think it's people who are trying to deal with grandparents.
Oh, okay.
I can tell you, like, just personally, I really struggled with my parents as I became a parent, and kind of where our, relationship went and who was in charge of what. And, my oldest is 15 and we're just finally getting to that point, and we worked really hard. So
and can we ask how old you are, Alexis?
I'm 46.
Okay, so there you go. See, there's that age right there.
Okay, yep. All right, thank you. That was helpful.
What about you, Cynthia? Do you want to speak up?
Yes, I think that would be, I'm 35 and I'm like, wow, that would be really helpful right now, as in my life is, I am looking for some guidance on how to keep the road smooth between relationships. And I wouldn't want to have to wait till somebody gets terminally ill to figure out how to do that. Yeah. So I think even younger than 45, just from personal experience.
Okay, great. That's good insight.
Good work, you guys. You're doing great. You're really doing great. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I know you're really trying. I can feel it. I can really feel it. So take care this week, and I'll see you next week. Or I'll see you in the many things that we do all the time.